For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Orr here with Dan Weber for instant analysis of the Wednesday practice of USC's bye week. It was another shorter practice than we're used to seeing. USC went helmets and shoulder pads only. What did you take away from this practice, Dan?
Well, I mean, I think it was a typical, I think we said it yesterday, kind of a bye week practice where you try to get a bunch of your guys rested. You try to get the guys who you think can be that one play away guy like Levi Jones was in the second half after John Houston got hurt, or a number of guys who just haven't gotten a chance to do a lot of things, or the two quarterbacks who got a lot of work today, Jack Sears and Mac Fink, which I think was a real plus for them with JT, getting another full day of not having to throw the ball. I thought it probably did the Matt Fink and Jack Sears a lot of good today. In terms of how this plays out in the long run, I don't know. I mean, I think I like the idea that they really emphasize it. I think they were talking to the coaches in each position about figure out one or two things you really need to do with your guys. And as far as the kind of a defensive day, the one thing they figured out was we got to get a better pass rush. Yeah. So they did work on that. I thought the activity, even though they weren't in full pads, the activity watching them doing the pass rush and pass block drills, I thought was really good. And I thought the D linemen went after it hard and were very active. I thought Brandon Peely, as Clay said, had a really good day. They've got a lot of guys. I mean, Porter Gustin is leading the Pac-12 in sacks with 5.5. They got a lot of guys that are really close, but they're just not getting there. I think Christian Rector has 15 hurries, but no sacks. They're coming close. They think Hunter Eccles gives them another guy who can be that guy. But I thought the pass rush choice of this is the thing we really want to emphasize and work on. And as Clancy said, it's going to be something that they're really going to emphasize to the rest of the year. They have to get better. I've had one sack in each of the last two games. Washington State and Arizona, for gosh sakes, have both had more sacks against USC than USC's had against them. That should not happen. Yeah, and Helton said that was an emphasis for both sides of the ball. The offensive line definitely worked on blocking that pass rush and something that they need going forward. But as it's a defensive day, you got to ask defensive coaches, how do you get that pass rush going? What do you specifically need to do and what they have to say? I think the specifics are not, there. I think it's, and pass rush is kind of, an effort thing. And it's kind of an individual, everybody's got different ways of doing things. And, some guys are, use their hands better. Other guys, have a spin move or just an outside, speed rush or whatever. But I think the emphasis was you got to figure out a way to get it done. You've got to get there. I mean, and it's not necessarily where you're going to say, we want you all to do it this way, we want you all to do it that way. I think it's effort. I thought I saw that in practice today on the pass rush and pass block stuff. I thought I saw a lot of effort. I thought I saw the defense really have a good day, in terms of that. And I do think when they identify Hunter Eccles as one of the guys that could be that next guy up, I think they're not wrong. Mm-hmm. But they've got to start getting something out of Brandon Peely, Jay Tufele. Those guys have enough talent, certainly have enough athletic ability to be that next guy up. I mean, they've got like 4 or so guys that they say, well, he could be the next guy up. But one of them has got to actually be the next guy up. Yeah.
As far as the schedule goes for the rest of the week of this bye week, Helton said that they're actually going to have an extra strength and conditioning team period tomorrow on Thursday, and the starters will be in that too, even some of the guys who sat out of practice this week. So that's going to be extra work for them. The coaches will be out recruiting on Friday. Helton also mentioned that they will be self-scouting this week, seeing the tendencies of the team, what other teams can prey on. What do you think that self-scouting looks like for this team?
I don't know. He didn't say, did he? No. I think... I do think they get to be, they get to have some tendencies in terms of formational tips to what they're going to run. They line up. I mean, that's one of the dangers of lining up in a number of different formations, and it has been through the years, is you get comfortable doing one thing out of one formation.
Yeah.
And, it just becomes more kind of normal to you, and somebody out there just looking at you one time says, oh, wait, if they're in this, they're going to do this. And I think this was a good week to do some self-scouting. Hopefully, you don't want to overreact, though, and you don't want to say, well, we'll do the exact opposite when we get in that form, and then, you're not ready to do something out of that formation. But I think, anything that helps this team figure out who they are and what they have to do with who they got and what they're going to do well. You don't want to see them bouncing around from week to week to week trying to be different or trying to fool somebody. I mean, that gets me nervous when, the big part of what you're trying to do is fool somebody. No, you want to execute better than they can stop you. You want to be able to run your stuff better than what they're going to try to do to defend against your stuff. But self-scouting is a big part of it, and you have to, you really, with all the tools they've got and all the programs they've got, the analytical stuff and that, you really ought to be able to do that fairly quickly. And one would hope that that's already happened this week. I mean, we weren't going to see any of it this week, but hopefully, and I use the word hopefully, which is not my favorite word when you're coaching a football team. You don't want to be hopefully doing anything, but hopefully they use this week to get enough ahead so that they can really get through next week and work on perfecting things and work on competing really hard and not have to work so much on the walkthroughs and the lineups and all the assignments, where that just is a given, and then you just go out there and you make it happen.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you next is, I know there's a lot of talk about the intensity of this bye week. How hard do you go? How many full pad practices do you have? After we've seen this week what we can see of their practices and their preparation, how would you evaluate what they did in this week?
I don't think we can yet. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with what are the players taking out of this week? What are they understanding, has to be, this is what we have to get done. This is what, is the only acceptable thing. If you just went by how hard, how fast, how competitive, how physical they were yesterday and today to carry over to the Colorado game, no, they didn't do enough. Physical, fast, competitive. If you combine it and it all works together at this, level where college kids don't necessarily always get there, you might be able to do it at the, the NFL level. We'll see. I mean, if they come in next week and they really hit it and really do it competitively and physically, and, I don't know, for example, I wrote in one of the notes, they threw a 60-yard bomb to Tyler Vaughns as he ran by a scout kid. And I'm thinking, did that play help Tyler Vaughns get any better? He's way better, and the scout corner really isn't defending him. And so you don't know. Did that play really get him better when the Colorado game comes up or not?
Yeah.
I don't think we know. Again, we'll use the word hopefully. The kids figure it out, and hopefully next week they push them to the point so that they do everything they do next week at the game speed and tempo and pressure that they have to do it against Colorado next Saturday. And that's the key coming out of practice. Are you able to do what you need to do at the level you need to be able to do it to beat people? And right now it's kind of iffy. It's close. It's, you add it all up after 60 minutes, and, even the wins are kind of like, woo, so.
Yeah, well, that crossed my mind on the Josh Follow fumble play against Arizona, because he's trying to make that extra effort. How many times in practice have we seen a scout team guy actually give full effort and try to rip the ball out? Is Follow used to something like that? That crossed my mind, where is practice not helping them in situations like that where Follow fumbles the ball and that actually hurts their team in the long run?
How often has he been tackled in practice?
Yeah.
I mean, how often does anybody tackle anybody in practice? I mean, and I wrote it down today, the first literally the first words you heard from a USC coach today after they finished calisthenics were two-hand touch on the ball carrier, someone called out from the special teams work that was going on. And I thought, yeah, there you go. The first words were two-hand touch. Okay. And obviously you're not going to practice kickoff return, full speed and full go or whatever, but it's a little jarring when those are the first words you hear, two-hand touch.
As far as injury report goes, it's been kind of loose. We haven't gotten a full update just because it is bye week and it's not very consequential this week. But we did get an update on Josh Amon-ra. Clay Helton says that he is not feeling pain in his ankle anymore, but he's having trouble making those cuts, those dramatic moves that wide receivers need to make to run their routes effectively. So he's not full strength yet, but he's getting there. And Levi Jones has been out with a stomach bug. It's kind of been going around. Helton says 5 other guys has that bug. And then Marquise Stepp, who I think just walked past us, was not able to finish practice today. We're not sure what happened with him, but we'll keep you updated.
And even on one leg, Josh did catch a touchdown pass, like 60-plus yard touchdown pass against one of the guys who has had some starts at corner. So, but you can tell he's really still favoring it, but, give him credit. That was a really, severe ankle sprain. And I really like what I'm seeing a little bit last week and then already this week. I mean, give Josh a lot of credit. He's working really hard.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts before we wrap it up for the week?
No, it's just we're wrapping it up for the week, and that's it's like, wow, okay. Yeah. So get to go out and watch some football Saturday, and I did this last Saturday, and just when you got a late game, you kind of watch the other games, and got a little discouraged. There were some really good teams playing really fast, and looked like they were very comfortable doing what they were trying to do, and that has to be the goal for this USC team, is to be one of those teams. I mean, right now, USC's not in the conversation of anybody about anything in terms of national college football, and they've got to start getting up to speed. And there's no more. They basically have to win. Clay said it's going to be 8 games straight, and get to Santa Clara, and it's 1 and out now at this point. I think a lot, as bad as the Pac-12 South is, this team just can't afford to have somebody in the Pac-12, beat them from here till the end of the year. And I just don't think you can keep playing these games where it comes down to the last play or the last possession or whatever. This team's too good for that. Yeah. So we shall see, as we always say.
Yep, we shall see indeed. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Dan Weber. I'm Keely Orr. For more, check out uscfootball.com.